The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
I am back, and you are flying high with me, Ralph Zig Tyko, over the zone. Thanksgiving Day, my favorite holiday in the entire world. Many, many turkeys over the years, and a lot of stuffing, I'll tell you that. It's 2017, and what do I think of on Thanksgiving? All the things I have to be thankful for. One of them is a long-lasting love at last, who doesn't push my buttons and doesn't encourage me to push hers. That's an anomaly in my life, and I'm grateful and thankful for it. Ms. Tally Olson, you are very, very special. I'm thankful for the privilege of having raised a son, co-raised a son, with the late Diane Satin, who was the baby mama. And Philip is 27, and he's healthy and formed and all those cool things. Having fun in life, I think I instilled that in him. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my health. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of how fortunate I've been to be able to live the life that I live, pain-free and out of the medical system so far. I'm really thankful for the opportunity to have not only a podcast show, this one, but a podcast network of folks who are brought together to entertain, inform, educate, talk a little baseball, talk all sports, talk life, talk politics. It's a terrific, terrific endeavor, and I'm proud of it, and for a lifetime ne'er-do-well to have put this together, what can I tell you? Again, thank you, Tally. You are the kingpin of it all. Now, what else do I think about on Thanksgiving? I think about my grandmother, Rose Niss, whose birthday we celebrated on Thanksgiving because when she arrived in this country, they didn't know exactly when she was born. It was sometime at the end of November. The papers were lost, all kinds of pogroms that they were escaping in those days. So the family celebrated it at the end of November, and the Kittatinskys went up to the Nissnevitzes up in the Bronx and celebrated every Thanksgiving that I could remember, and it was good times. I miss my grandmother. This is her birthday, so I'm thankful for the memories, and may she rest in peace. Okay, what I'm going to do is, speaking of grandmothers, I had a terrific conversation with two of my old camp buddies from Kittatinny Camp way back in the 60s. For me, it was before then when I started Kittatinny. It was the 50s. And each summer was delightful. So I'm fortunate enough to keep in touch with some of my camp friends, some folks that I've met over the Kittatinny Camp website that I didn't know. They came to camp after me. They're younger than me, and yet I've established friendships with folks like Dewey Marietta, who was Gail in those days, and Lisa. Lisa's going to be on this interview. And Barbara Burton Stewart, an all-time pal. Barb, I'm thankful for your friendship. You and Bob were terrific to me. Took me in your home when I was stranded in Florida 3 or 4 years ago, and kept me there for a couple of weeks until I went back to California. I'm incredibly grateful, and will remember that forever. And I get to talk to you on the interview that I'm going to attach to this momentarily. And again, anybody listening, happy Turkey Day. If you could think about it, everybody, all of us have things to be thankful for. It's nice to have a day when we can sit down and really put them into our thoughts. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my thanks, my nachas, with you on this Thanksgiving. So, it's Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. You're flying high over the zone with me, the Zigzag Man. Listen to Barbara and Lisa. They're terrific. They're coming right up. Here we go. I am back, and you are flying high with me, the Zigzag Man, in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco in the northern part of what I consider to be the best state in the Union. But what do I know? Some people say Florida. My returning guest, my old camp buddy, my pal, Barbara Burton. How are you?
Stewart. Okay.
Barbara Burton Stewart. You're absolutely correct. That was the first test of the morning to see if you were up. And
Hi.
with that, regards to Bob.
It's Lisa.
And I hope this is Lisa who's joining us.
It is. I couldn't find my glasses, so I couldn't see the phone. I took a minute to find my glasses. That's why I'm 2 minutes late or whatever.
Well, I'm glad you found them, and I'm really glad you're here to join us. I'll tell you why, because the theme of the show, not only you guys are my old camp buddies from Kittatinny Camp years ago, we're joined by Lisa Wolfe Rozgany. Do I ever pronounce that correctly, Lisa?
No, it's not, but it's okay. It's Rozgany, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, I forgot Stewart. I pronounced Rozgany wrong.
Hi, Barbara.
It's early in the morning.
Hi, Lisa.
All right. The theme of the show in my mind today is grandmas. It's World Series time, baseball World Series. And when I was a kid, she pronounced it Voiled Sirius. Voiled Sirius is on. So when the World Series comes around, I get to think of my late grandmother, Rose Ness, and I'm sad. I'm sad because she's no longer here, and I'm happy because of all the memories that she evokes. And I don't know many active, concerned with it grandmas nowadays. I don't know what it is, but people live separate lives and what have you. And I'm talking to two of the most loving, concerned grandmothers around.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to start with you, Lisa, because you do it more or less full time. You take care. You have the terrific pleasure of taking care of your grandkids. What's that about, and how did that come about? I used to do
it full time. I'm not full time anymore. I'm getting too old for that. But I'm with them a lot, and I do watch them.
Okay. Now
and they're older too now, probably, and don't need you as much either.
Yes, exactly. But the two little ones are in New Jersey, so I kind of miss that, you know.
Okay. You raised, you basically took care of the big ones.
Yes, I did.
Through their first 5 years. How is that different? How is that experience of being a grandmother different from being a mother?
It's a different feeling. I can't.
Absolutely.
What I feel is I have a second chance to. Not that I wasn't a good mother, but like the mistakes I learned as a mother, I wanted to make sure I didn't make any same mistakes raising my grandchildren. So I learned from it, you know, from having children.
You've also mellowed.
And I've mellowed, right? And that is very true. I used to be more nervous, and I wasn't as nervous.
And also, it's up to your kids to really bring them up. You know, you do what's right for them, what you you feel is right for them, but it's up to your kids to put parameters in there.
Right. I mean, I did the best I could while I was there, and I tried to, you know, teach them everything I know. I just try to make also learning fun, a lot of fun, you know, through music and different things. Like I said, I wasn't as nervous, and maybe I had more time, you know, concentrated time, like quality, a lot of quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, so.
Barbara, I'll ask you, how is being a grandmother different from being a mom?
Well, first of all, my son and my granddaughter were totally different. My son always had me on edge. He had his own mind, which I glad about, and she has her own mind, and I'm glad about that too. And I first realized how much of his own mind he had when he was about 4, and I had a door locked in my house. I was downstairs, and I heard him say to his friend, and they were upstairs, "She thinks she can keep me out of this room." And he climbed up and opened the door. And
that was it.
Spirited. I call that spirited.
I'm sorry, you call that?
I said I call that spirited.
Yeah, well, okay, spirited, if that's what you want to call it. That was my first inkling that I was going to, that I was in trouble. But my granddaughter, my granddaughter, on the other hand, nobody's going to, I was like a doormat. Nobody's going to step on her. She's very kind. She's very thoughtful. She's very empathetic. Great sense of humor. But nobody's going to step on her. She knows what she wants, and she tells you what she wants.
That's idyllic, really. If you can.
Yeah,
she's going to need those skills in life to get her needs met. And
She sounds like my granddaughter. She sounds like my granddaughter. Maybe we should get them together. That
sounds like a good thing. Her birthday was this week, so we went to dinner where she wanted to go, which was for sushi. And she's been ordering her own food and calling waiters over since she was like 4. I mean, we said, "Victoria, stop." And excuse me, can I get... So we went to the sushi restaurant, and they know her there because I guess her parents go there, pretty often when it's softball season. And so the waitress comes over and she says, "Can I get a bowl of miso soup and some gyoza? And do you have soft-shell crabs?" And that's what she had.
It sounds like it's her world and everybody else is just living in it.
Well, but she's very empathetic and sympathetic and giving and kind. And, you know, she told me one day at school, actually she was telling her mother and I just happened to hear it. She was at school and she overheard this boy go up to the teacher and say he doesn't have any friends and he has nobody to eat with. And she went up to the teacher and she said, how about if I go over to him and sit with him and play with him? And not too many kids would do that.
I would do that, but not too many kids would do that.
Yeah, I would do that too because, you know, but because I would probably be crying for the kids.
Right, you're like me.
Here's what I want to ask you both. Do your philosophies, respective philosophies about raising children differ from your kids? And have there been a time, has there ever been a time you come up at odds with anything? And that's just off the top of my head because my mother and grandmother were so totally different and clashed on most everything.
Was that her mother, Ralph? That's her mother?
Yeah, with her mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if you guys clash on philosophy of
not
raising
really,
kids.
because it's their choice to bring up their children the way they want. You know, in my opinion, I just have the one granddaughter, but I think they're doing such a great job that there really isn't much to clash on. The only thing, well, first of all, I was really proud of my son that he insisted that she go to Hebrew school, since, you know, it was pulling teeth to get him to go. And, but it often clashes with her softball, and softball comes first. But luckily, for some reason now, it changed, so they're on opposite weeks. But, you know, like I said to them, you know, she's getting of an age. She wants a bat mitzvah, and she's going to have to go and do the work to have a bat mitzvah. And that's the only thing, you know. And my son says, yes, I know. My daughter-in-law, she couldn't care less, you know, so.
Yeah. I had my bar mitzvah in Pig Latin. They taught me Hebrew Pig Latin.
You had one? Oh, my God.
I was one of the first Jews in America to learn Hebrew Pig Latin.
Hebrew Pig Latin, oh, my God.
Yeah, Hebrew, and some Yiddish thrown in, too. Sometimes people didn't know if it was Yiddish I was speaking or if it was Hebrew I was speaking, but they did recognize the Pig Latin. And so,
whose idea was that?
Whose idea was that? That Soupy Sales, I think. Barbara does not realize my dad, when he came here, missed Ellis Island. And
so did my grandparents.
Yeah, he ended up at Fantasy Island. And we all, the kids all have midget fetishes, which...
Is that why you called Lisa and me?
No, you're both very small, but you're not midgets. Let's put it that way.
I'm shrinking and getting there.
Anyway, that's
all right.
I do clash a little bit.
What is it that, I'm going to ask you both, what is the number one thing that you got from your grandparents that you bestow on your grandchildren, your grandchild, Barbara? Start with you.
Start with who? You can go, Lisa. Me? Okay. Oh. I'm trying to think. It's a hard question for me to answer because my mother's parents, my grandfather died when I was an infant. So although I know things about him, and even though he wasn't there to bestow it on me, he was a very, very generous person. He could be a tyrant, but he was also a very, very generous person. And so I try to be generous. You know, I try to make life better for people. He did things like during the Depression, he had his business stayed open during the Depression, and he had a number of workers, and some of them didn't have places to live, so he would buy buildings so they would have places to live.
Wow.
But
what business was he in, Barbara?
Window washing.
Oh.
The office buildings in the city. And so they had to clean their windows.
Yeah.
That's a big money making thing. That's a big profit, window washing. You just go out there with the squeegee and
when you have a building that's like 20 stories high, that's a lot of windows.
Not just a lot of windows, but a lot of risk. You know, it's up there.
Right. They had the riggings and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't out there actually doing the squeegeeing at that point. I mean, at the beginning he was, because he started the business himself, you know.
Right.
And then he ended up taking in his 3 brothers and then a couple other people, and so then there were 5 partners. Then my grandfather died, and one of his brothers, who we won't name because they could put me in jail for slander, I guess, except he's gone too, threw my family and his other brother out of the business. And his family all, you know, they're all millionaires, but my family is happy.
You know, sometimes money doesn't buy happiness.
That's right.
And other times it rents it for just long enough. You get the tax deduction, and
but
makes it all worth it.
My grandmother, she died when I was 9. She lived downstairs from us, but she was not well from the time I was basically born. So, you know, it was always like, you can't run in the house because you're going to be running on Nana's head, you know, stuff like that. But she did teach me to dunk in the morning in your coffee, and that's now past the past, I don't know, 6 months or so, maybe longer. Bob brings me coffee in the morning, and now he brings me coffee with a biscotti. And I dunk my biscotti.
How about sugar cubes? My grandmother used to dunk sugar cubes. Do you remember when?
No, they used to put it between their teeth and drink through the teeth.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I do remember that.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember those little cubes and the rest? You know.
Yeah, but I just don't remember seeing my grandmother ever do it. My father's parents lived in California, and my grandfather out there, he died when I was 12. And my grandmother, she died, actually Zachary is named for her. She died shortly before Zachary was born. And she was a character too. She was a charter member of Borough Park being a section of Brooklyn. And she was always very active, didn't sit home, and her mother lived with them, with her and my grandfather, and my father wasn't grown yet, and she never cooked because her mother did the cooking, so she never learned how to cook. So when her mother died, nobody knew how to cook.
A Jewish?
And so I took that from my grandmother.
I just don't get that.
Oh, well, I come from a family of not great cooks too.
Well, my other side, my mother's mother, she was a fabulous cook.
Yeah. Well, my aunts from my father's side were great cooks, but my mother was not, and my grandmother was not. My grandmother was famous for what she had. Did I hear somebody come on the line?
No, it's
No,
me.
not that I know of.
Okay.
You want me to touch that my grandma?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, my grandmother influenced me a lot because she gave me quality time, unconditional love, and she just, I could do no wrong in her eyes. She just listened to me. So I had a great love for she did a lot with me. So I think I picked up on how close I was with my grandmother to my kids. Maybe I did a little too much for them, but, I just felt unconditional love all the time. As she got older, she got a little cranky, but, those growing up years with her, she didn't live with us, were wonderful, and she was a good cook. She was a really good Jewish cook. But I think that influenced me a little bit. I was more like my grandmother than my mother
Right.
Yeah.
You were lucky you got to know, to really spend time with her.
Yeah, maybe when I was 34, she died,
Wow.
So I had, I had all those years, we were very close, very, very close. Like Ralph to Grandma Rose. I had a Lily and you had a Rose, but
I have a Lily.
Was Rose. You have a Lily?
I had a Lily, but that was
Ralph
my grandmother.
met her. Ralph met her.
I did. I had a Lily, but that was my grandfather.
Eli?
Lily.
Eli Lily?
No, you said you had a Lily, but...
Don't you remember Lily?
Yes, I know, but I said it as a joke that Lily was I had a Lily for a grandfather.
Oh.
That was...
I didn't know that was a joke.
Sometimes my jokes, people don't know they're jokes. I like to think that's the charm of it, but that's...
I got the joke, though. But I was saying...
I know. You're pretty quick on the up. It's still early. It is in California, anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate you getting up at this hour for us.
Well, it is definitely my pleasure. Any camp memories that you want to share? Either of you? How about start with Lisa?
I mean... I would say the best years of my life, camp. Memories, just bonding with the kids and the counselors, and the music and it was just a family. I felt it was a family. Like everybody, there wasn't drama to me. We had drama, but not that kind of drama. But there was just exuded friendship and love. That's how I got it. You guys
extended family.
I have very mixed emotions about it. Now I'm in contact with people that I wasn't in contact with when I was there. They were my bunkmates.
I remember you told me that, Barbara. I remember you told me you had mixed. You had a little more difficult time.
Yeah.
Difficult time. They were I call them the Wonder Years.
Well, actually, they sort of were. But when my first year there, three of us were new, but one came with somebody. And it turned out that she wasn't such a great person to have in your bunk. Not just for me. I knew that right off, but everybody else found out at the end of the summer. And then another person
Lisa
was
said
new.
There was no drama. Are you kidding? There was drama.
I don't remember drama. We went young.
No.
But she was younger. You were younger, Lisa.
I wasn't there in my later teenage years, like 14, 15. I wasn't there then. I was there when
That's not your later teenage years.
My 13.
Is Victoria going to go to summer camp? And do your kids, your grandkids go to summer?
I wanted Victoria. Actually, I had said to Zachary, because he teaches, I said, why don't you go work at a camp during the summer and have them bring Victoria up? No, I'm not going to do that. So he went to camp. His first 2 years, he loved it. The third year was at a different camp, and he was sick, but we didn't know it. And it was horrible. And Bob actually went and picked him up before the end of the summer, and we got the money back for the camp. Believe it or not, we got the money back.
Whoa.
That was nice. No, my grandkids don't go to camp. They don't go to camp. They're very busy with sports, and they go on a lot of vacations with their parents. But my kids went to camp, but not my grandkids. They don't go to camp so much around here.
Well, because down here, if they have to, Zachary went, actually the first 2 years that he loved, he went to Camp Shalom, which is not too far from you, Lisa. It's in the Ocala National Forest.
Oh, well, that's cool.
In Orange City or something like that.
Yeah, Orange City. Yeah, that's, I think, near Daytona or something. That's about an hour.
Well, it's in the forest. It's around, it's north of Gaines. It's north of Ocala. But it's, they, very coincidentally, they had a thing in his temple. Somebody came in to talk about camp, and Zachary and Anna and Victoria went. And Victoria said, "Oh, wow, it sounds great. I want to go." Well, what camp was it? It was Camp Shalom. And the person who was there when Zach was there. And it was, Victoria said, "Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to do it." I would love for her to do it. They said, "Well, it's so expensive now. One kid is like $10,000 now." But they had a 3-week program for kids her age. And I said, that would be perfect for her. Not $10,000, less. And I said, that would be perfect. But it kind of cut into the end of the softball season. And so they decided not to do it. But I think it's a fabulous, even though I have mixed emotions about it, I think it's a fabulous experience.
It's the best. It's the best experience.
Hey, we're winding down time-wise, but I just want to say thank you. You helped me remember my grandmother, and you helped me remember Kittatinny Camp, all in one morning. Can't.
We have to sing. Do we have to sing now? Oh, Kittatinny Camp, your camp. You don't want me singing either.
Okay. We'll mouth the words. We'll all mouth the words as if we were singing.
Thank you for inviting me. I didn't even know what this was, but I said I'll call. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either, but we've been doing it now 5 years. Barbara's been on at least 4 times over the years.
Yeah, and my son was on.
Yeah, absolutely. And your son, get me your son's email. The one he had from the school no longer exists.
Right, because he's now with a different school, but I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Send him my regards. Send them all my regards.
Question for you.
Uncle Ralph.
Could you send me an email so I can get your address onto my iPad? Because I have the beginning, but I don't have the end.
Okay. Of an iPad or an email?
Of your email.
Okay. I will send it to you and tell you both again, thank you very much. And this is the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Tyko. Hi. And thank you both. We'll talk soon.
Our pleasure. Or I'll speak for myself and let Lisa speak for herself. My pleasure.
I'm glad you both enjoyed it. That's terrific.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Be well, everybody. Adios.
Adios.